Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of Dark Souls PvP and another Battle of the Uploaders Xbox Edition. Alright, number 11 this time, and this time I'm fighting against 3 people, sorta kinda. Technically it's only 1, but excuse me. Technically it's only 1. I'm fighting against FPSsnake. Now, for those who are not familiar with this guy's channel, he has a really cool idea for his channel. He does Dark Souls cosplay, roleplay, whatever you want to call them, videos of characters from other games. So right here, he is Link. I know he's not green, I know, it's okay, I can't help that. He did the best he could with, what Dark Souls gave him. So I think he's got a really cool concept for his videos, and he does a very good job of pulling them off. Now, throughout this video here, you're going to see him using 3 of his builds, 3 of his characters from other games, starting off with Link, then going to Corvo, and I have to say, his video on Corvo, oh my god. That was just incredible. Those plunging attacks he gets in that video, if you have not seen that, definitely go check that out. One of those plunging attacks, my jaw just dropped. I was like, what? No, that's not how it works. And it was just incredible. So, definitely worth checking out, just for that one plunging attack alone. And then the last build he uses, which I never want to fight it again. Oh, it was horrible. It was a horrible experience for me. It's Hades from the God of War series. And he does a very good job of using Hades, I think. It's not the most effective, yet it is at the same time. Now, the way he makes his builds, he makes it so that they're not, perfect builds. They're not the most effective way to do things. It's what makes it seem most realistic as to what he could do for that character. So, he could use other weapons, he could use better things, but he tries to keep it true to the character. For example, in his video on Link, he wouldn't backstab, because, Link really kind of can't backstab. And actually, I do have one little bone to pick about that video. I already mentioned it to him, and he might get a little frustrated or upset with me or whatever for saying it in this. In his video on Link, he did the wrong sound for when he rolled. He based it off of Ocarina of Time, and he used the wrong rolling sound. It's not a big detail. It actually was a very good reason for why he did that, but man, that's the one complaint, though, I've ever had about any of his videos. The rest of them, they're incredible. The concept I find to be very enjoyable to watch and see, and the way he edits in cutscenes from the games, especially the God of War games, the way he edits those in, it makes a lot of sense. And honestly, the video he did with Corvo, in my opinion, is just without a doubt his best one. And I actually haven't seen his one on Hades yet, so I can't judge based against that, but his video on Corvo, oh, fantastic. Right there a few seconds ago, I got a partial parry on him when I was just facing like at a 90-degree angle from him. I don't know how exactly that worked out, but it did for me. And I think I still ended up losing this fight, though. He got a nice parry on me there, and I sort of failed. Actually, yes, he did win this fight, and it was a very good one. I got killed by a bomb that Link threw. Yep. These fights were they were really fun. They were a good time. And when I was fighting later on against Hades, oh boy, you guys will get to see me fail so hard. For some reason, and I don't know exactly why it is, actually I think I have an idea, but I'll get into that later, I have a really hard time dodging the whip. Any of the whips, I have a really hard time dodging them. And I will go into why I think that is a little bit later on when we're actually watching, the video with Hades. Now right here he's got Corvo. With Corvo he uses a short sword and a hornet ring. In the offhand he has nothing, and on the other slot he's got a crossbow, light crossbow. Which, it makes sense. It's Corvo. It's exactly how you would think it would be. And of course he's got Chester's jacket coat thing and the dark mask. It's exactly what you would, have to have Corvo be wearing if you were to make him in Dark Souls. And he played very well. I mean, the whole aspect of his random invasions done on this build is really what makes the build, what made his video so great. But for these matches, it was still pretty fun, and it was pretty good. I really did enjoy it. I really liked a few times he got some good attacks on me, and this fight right here. Oh man, this fight right here. The whole goal, we were talking about the pike and about other things and other weapons and such. And I determined, without even telling him, that my goal for this whole fight was just to try and hit him one time with that pike's running attack. And needless to say, I did not succeed. It did not work well for me. And I really do need to end up landing that attack on video someday, just because it's so satisfying. I've landed it a few times. I landed it once against Judas when we were having some matches, and I think I killed him with it that time. That was just complete random dumb luck, though, because it just was. It doesn't usually happen. And the other time, which I'll get back to in a second, I'll get back on topic this time, I swear, that backstab I got on him, I had honestly expected him to back away, so I was planning on just chasing him down and going for a running attack. But he moved in, and that made me circle around him somewhat when I tried to run in. So I was planning on chasing him down, and one thing led to another, and then my Lucerne was in his back. Oops. Anyway, the other time I hit someone with the pike's running attack, it was a ganker in Darkroot, the side where all of the, well, gankers live. And I ended up breaking his poise with it and pushing him against a wall with it, and it stunned him, and you could just see 300, 600, 900 dead. And it was pretty fantastic. I think I had Power Within on at the time. That's why it was doing a good amount of damage. But anyway, that was a good parry right there. Too bad he didn't get the riposte. I'm pretty sure he gets one a little bit later on in this fight, though. Now, the reason I was using the clubs like this, he mentioned to me that he sort of just freezes up whenever he sees someone using the clubs. And me being, well, me, I had to use both at once. I mean, why would I not use the large club and the great club at the same time when I'm fighting against someone who doesn't like to fight clubs? Just the fear factor and the whole, laughing at it while it's happening situation made it pretty great. And I was really hoping I would land that R2. I was really, really hoping I would land that R2. Oh well, though. Doesn't really matter. Now, if I remember correctly, for this fight, he actually was saying that I wouldn't be able to kill him with the Golemax R2, and not to, spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it. I ended up getting him with the Golemax R2. It was a really close call, but I ended up getting him with it, and I was like, so, you were saying. It was fun. These matches were a good time. I really did enjoy this, and it was really nice to fight someone who actually switches up their builds while they're having a battle of the uploaders. I mean, switching up your playstyle and your tactics based on what weapons you're using is good and all, but switching up your build altogether and adopting a whole new playstyle based on whatever build you're using, that's really fun. It adds a lot of variety to the thing, and I really did enjoy doing this. Now, what I think I enjoyed the most about it, though, was how good he is with all of his builds. I mean, with Link, he did a really good job of blocking all the right attacks and countering very effectively. With Corvo, he's taking advantage of those backstabs. He's got those barehanded parries down, and, I mean, he's using a short sword and a hornet ring, so it's really not doing too much damage, but it does add up. So, it's really an effective build, even if it doesn't seem like it's the most effective thing he could have put together, because it's not the most effective thing he could have put together. So it's really just sort of fun to fight a person whose play style can vary so much and changes over the course of 2 hours, I think is how long we were fighting against each other. And we had some trouble connecting, which is why the video ended up being so short, so that's that. Now we've got Hades, and I don't like Hades. I just struggled so much at dodging this whip, and it's just bad. I mean, you guys will see it. It is really just ridiculous at times. because I swear there was some lag or some phantom range or something. Or maybe I'm just going crazy. Now, this fight, I decided I would use only the bow, thinking, if I can keep out of his range, then I don't have anything to worry about. And what's better for keeping out of range than a, weapon that shoots projectiles? And it really didn't work out for me. I mean, I rolled away, and I'm still getting hit. I mean, look how far that was. I'm just assuming there was a little bit of lag that sort of messed things up, but man, that whip. I do like the whips. I really do like using them in the offhand, but in the main hand, they're kind of difficult to use, so it's pretty impressive that he's, able to use it very well. I know he does have a damage boosting buff on it, and that does help out quite a bit. It pretty much doubles the damage that the thing is doing. But it's still really interesting to see. And, you don't see people using the whips very often, and I can understand why that is. I don't blame them at all by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, they're not that great, but when you put a buff on them, they are very deceiving. I mean, you can't see if the buff is worn out or not. You have a hard time judging if you're within distance to be hit or not. And when there's a buff, that just makes it even more dangerous for when you do get hit. Because, I mean, think about it. Without the buff, with 40 dexterity, a notched whip would do what? Probably like 350 damage-ish. With, what's it called? Dark Moon Blade plus 3 on it, though. Then, man, that will probably be doing around 700-ish damage. Oh, I probably should mention this. I made a Faith build the other day. Yeah, I haven't used a Faith build in a long time. And it was really nice sort of getting back into using a build with miracles. It was really nice, and I really want to get used to using them again. So I'm going to be practicing with that for a bit and see what happens. Who knows? I might end up starting to do some pretty cool combos or something or other, or I don't know. But I am really enjoying the Faith build. Again, of course I'm enjoying it again, though. I enjoyed it the first time I had one. Now, I really want to get good at a few things with said Faith build, and those, as I sort of hinted at, would be combos. Now, combos are something I just want to work on in general, because I'm not too great at them, but specifically on a Faith build, just because being able to use miracles and to use the weapon you're using, and use them pretty much equally, that's what I really want to aim for when I use a build like this, when I use a build with any form of casting. I want to be able to use my weapon and my spells equally. So that way I'm not really relying on one over the other. Because as it stands, I kind of am there, sort of, kind of, but I really want to be able to get some pretty cool combos alternating between the two. That's really what I would like to do. And as far as playing with just the quality build itself, I mean, there are combos that I have seen that I would love to be able to do, but just struggle. Right a few seconds ago when I threw the lightning spear in the water, I realized a lot of people don't exactly know that it does that, so yes, throwing a lightning spear of any kind in the water will cause it to go all conducty, for lack of a better term. I'm tired, give me a break. I did it again, I laughed in the mic. Ugh, my ears, damn it. Anyway, yeah, it will go all conducty stuff. It will also do the same if you are using a Dragon Slayer spear and do its R1, I believe it is. It's one-handed R... No, not R1, it's one-handed R2. What am I saying? Where you shoot the lightning from it, it'll do the exact same thing if you shoot that into a puddle of water, and it will do damage to your opponent. I think it only does about, like, I don't know, half of the damage it would normally do, I think. So don't quote me on that. It seems like it's around there, though, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, again, hitting it with half of the damage is better than not hitting at all, so that's why I personally like to do it. And really, this area is very well made for using a Faith build. I mean, you've got the water for the lightning spears, you've got the hill, And for those who don't know, spells like Gravelord Greatsword Dance and Fire Tempest and all of those area of effect spells like that, they will go farther downhill than they will uphill. So if you're standing on that hill, there's a good chance that you're going to hit your opponent. So you've got those spells, and then you've got a wide open area for other spells that you can aim around, like Emit Force and such. So it's really a very nice area for using builds that have spells of some kind, miracles, or even sorcery, or pyromancy for that matter, because I mean I mentioned Fire Tempest, and as far as throwing spells around, shooting spells around, you can throw a fireball and such. So really, this is a good area. It's really well versatile, and I can see why people have chosen to duel here since essentially the beginning of the game. I mean, it's one of those things. I didn't get this game when it first came out. I didn't even hear about it when it first came out. I had played Demon's Souls a little bit on my friend's PlayStation, but I never really, followed it. Then when I saw this game at Best Buy, I was like, ooh, I have to get it. And yeah, I came into the game late compared to some other people. I really did. And I started the YouTube thing late compared to some other people too, because I came into the game late. So that's, I don't know, and there's a lot of things I really never thought about because I came in so late as it was. The reason for choosing this area as a dueling spot is one of them. But I kind of do realize it now, just giving it some thought. And it's really kind of interesting to think about it if you did come into the game a little bit late compared to people who bought it when it first came out. So, I don't know. Anyway, I have one last fight after this one. I have sort of rambled on throughout this entire fight. I have fought Link, I have fought Corvo, I have fought Hades, and I want to thank FPSsnake for, fighting me as all of them. It was a really awesome time, and I really enjoyed it. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.